Hi everyone, my name's Joe Gulizia. I'm the local guide here at Fjallraven, Kitsilano. Today I invite you to join me on my frame making class. I just want to let you know that I am in a COVID safe environment. So to start the event off, we're going to need a couple things. Any sort of driftwood from your local beach, from the forest, the desert, wherever you are, whatever landscape you're in, you're just going to grab a couple pieces of wood, and at any length is fine, just enough to be able to fit your photo, probably a couple inches oversized. We are going to need some twine and some mini clothespins. Um, all pretty easy to find at a dollar store, hardware store. Um, yes, and a pair of scissors. This will all be things that you can do at home without any tools. I wanted to do this because I don't know. I go out on walks and I find driftwood everywhere, and I love being able to make things. I wanted to figure out what I could use with the driftwood that we have here in beautiful British Columbia. Um, at home, I make mobiles, so I hang up the driftwood and I hang seashells, little bunches of lavender you can find at the local markets, and I figured let's step it up and make these wonderful frames. Today I have an 11 by 17 photo, and I'm gonna place it in my frame basically by mounting it with these clips here, and then I'll just be hanging it behind. And then that way you don't need any sort of screws, mat boards, anything. So what we're gonna do next is we're gonna take our driftwood here, and you can kind of lay it out and get a plan of where you want your frame or what you want your frame to look like. I've laid out my wood here like this. I think this is going to be my kind of optimal look. This will actually end up being the bottom of my frame, and this will be the top. I really like this flat piece of wood in order to just to kind of accentuate the top of my frame and kind of draw my viewer's eye line downwards. So what we're going to do is basically we're going to take this string and bring it underneath our wood, and then we're going to come up and forward in kind of like a cross, and then I'm just going to get a little knot to tie off, just to tie off the rope. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull this cross up. I'm going to bring this little tie underneath, and then I'm just going to pull it through. And then I have this big loop here, so what I can do is leave my excess end and just leave it where it is, and then I'm going to pull the other portion backwards, and then that's just going to cinch it off. And this that I just did is a slip knot. So what I can do is I can then pull on it and tighten it. But this slip knot, what we're going to do is we're going to hide it behind the frame. Okay, and now we are tight in the one corner. Okay, so we can make a second, maybe a third wrap around. So we've got that nice base forming. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come under and behind our piece here. We're going to leave that out. And then we're going to start crossing again. And we're going to cross in front, so we make that nice little cross there. We're going to come up and under and behind and cross again there. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip this around so you can kind of see what you'll be looking at in the back. So you have your cross here, and then this is our piece that came to change position on our frame. And then here's our little slip knot just hidden. Okay, so we're gonna start off our first corner here. I'm gonna take my rope, I'm gonna bring it underneath, I'm gonna do my little cross, and then I'm gonna pick up underneath both ropes, pull my excess end all the way under, have this loop, and then pull my excess end through the loop, and we're just going to close off that knot. All right, and then we will tighten. I'll flip so you can see how I pull. So I'm just going to pull this slip knot all the way back around. Okay, and we're going to keep it just on the back side of the wood here, so then we can hide it from anyone. That way it makes it look a little bit neater and cleaner on our walls. Okay, we're gonna cross. Let's do 3 wraps around. So 1, 2, 3. So on that third one, we're just gonna come straight back, and then now we're on that left side of the log, my left, your right, and we're gonna come all the way across here, and we're gonna make a nice cross. Okay, and then we'll do another 3 full times around, and that should start to look like we're tightening, or should start to bring our frame together here. So 1, 2, 3 full wraps, and then we'll just bring this straight back, and we'll do another 3 on the front, or on the opposite side. So 1, 2, 3, pull it back, last one, and 1, 2, 3. Okay, now we've got a pretty solid kind of cross knot here. I really like it. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip the whole frame over, and we are going to take this end here. We're gonna give it a little cut. We'll just give it some excess room just so we can make it nice and tight. Okay, so I've got my extra little loop here, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna fish this extra end underneath. We'll just say I'm gonna try and do it underneath all of it, but you can kind of do a little bit less if you need. Okay, so I've just slipped my loose end underneath my crosses here, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this end up. I'm going to cross this piece over. I can flip my hand here so you can see there's a nice little latch there, and then I'm going to take this extra little bit and I'm going to feed it through. The difference being on this one is I'm going to pull this portion tight. I'm going to pull this portion tight, so you still have this little bit of slack here, and then just like you're tying a bow at home, we're going to put our hand right here on the front of the knot and then pull the excess in. So now it's nice and tight. And then what you can do just to make sure that knot doesn't come out, we're going to grab just a little excess here. We're going to come across again and then put the string straight through and just give it another little pull. And that's just going to be an anchor just so this string doesn't come loose over the years of you having it on the wall. And then I'm just going to cut a little, we'll leave a little excess there so it doesn't unravel. So here's our excess. I'm going to throw that away, and then I will flip this back over, and now you can see our kind of final product here. I'm going to work on the next side, and we're going to end up jumping ahead here. Okay, so I'm going to get going, and I'll see you in a couple seconds. So right now we've got 2 anchor points in. Just to check in, it will feel a little bit wobbly. We are going to go and put our next piece in here, and once we get these 2 tied down, it'll be pretty solid. Just these 2 points, I mean, it leaves us a little bit of play, and it also depends on how tight you have your crosses in here. We can always tighten them up just kind of by cinching down on those slip knots. Here we go yet again. We are going to go underneath, bring our excess end in front, make that nice little loop. I'm just going to throw that there. We got our loop here. we're gonna go over, we've got our nice little knot, and then I'm just gonna pull that tight. Okay, I'm gonna bring that around. We'll do one more almost final flip of the frame. Flip that around, get our knot nice and cinched up and tight. And now we're off to the last knot. Okay, flip that frame right back around again. And here we go. 1, 2, 3, and behind. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, and behind. And we've got 1, 2. Just gonna keep placing my finger on top of that. 3. We'll go behind again. I think, how are we looking? Let's just check just to make sure we have the proper width. I'm just gonna put this in here just to check the width of my photo, because I can definitely just tuck this in a little bit if I wanted to. I think we are looking pretty good. I do like where it's sitting, and let's keep going. So I'm gonna pull this frame out, or pull my photo out, and keep going. So we just tucked behind, and so we're gonna come back up across, and 1, 2, 3, and behind. 1, 2, 3. We'll do one final one on each side just to make sure we have that strength. 1, 2, 3, and behind. 1, 2, and final one, 3. Get a little bit of excess line here. I'm just gonna keep this tight. Maybe put my elbow down. I'll just put my wrist down. Keep this tight, and excess string. Flip our frame over again. Pull tight on the excess. Probably could have used a little bit of extra loopage. And I'm just gonna lift up again, tuck this string under as much as I can. Made it too tight for myself. All right, pull that tight, not too tight. Okay, so left a touch of slack just so we can come. We're gonna bring our loop, cross it over, and then bring that slack right through the hole. And then I'm just gonna put a pin. I'm gonna pull this tight again. I'm gonna pull my loose end tight. I'm gonna put my finger down, and then I'm gonna pull and cinch down on the knot and make sure we keep that tension. And then final time, I'm gonna grab up top, and then I'm gonna cross, almost twist and cross, and then just put our final end through and keep my finger down on this knot so it stays nice and low. Oh, that one's a little high. Let's do it again, just in case. That kind of happens. That's the reason why we keep our finger down there. Okay, so keep it low, and there we are. Okay. Inch of slack. Here's our frame, final frame. Got our final 4 knots in here. Looking pretty good. And it looks like we are ready to hang our picture. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our yarn, and we're gonna have 4 clothespins I like to use 4 pins just because I like to make sure every corner is nice and tight. You could just use 2 if you wanted and just let the photo dangle in the frame. What we'll do is we're going to take our frame and we're going to flip it over. Alright, so we flipped our frame over, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie another slip knot, and I'm going to make sure that it's at the top of our frame. So the excess wood will be sticking out, and you're just going to come right on top and rest it on the top portion of your frame. So I'm just going to let that loose again, and we're going to take our 2 strings that we've done before, cross under. Now we've got our nice little loop. Cinch that tight. So we'll just make sure that our slip knot, when pulled towards the other edge of the frame, tightens and doesn't loosen. So what I mean by that is when this knot is pulled this way, what's happening here is it's tightening. What you can do to test that is, so see how I've got my excess string here, so that's our loose end. And I can just pull that, I can hold on our clipped piece, and I can pull that tight, and then just so I know it's knotted, I can pull across this way, and it's not moving. That's pretty latched on there. So if it isn't knotted like that, what you can do is you can actually just pull this knot off, turn it around, slip it right back on, and it's going to be perfect. I am going to cut this little excess tail off. We are just going to make sure that we're on the back end, just so this is straight and even, and then I'm going to come and loop around. We'll just loop it around twice here just to make sure that we're nice and tight. So we did 2 loops, and then I'm going to pull this out, get my extra slack, cut my slack off. Now, so you can even loosen this up again. What we'll do is we'll go under both ends of our knot, of our loop, and then we're just going to keep cinching it tight, okay? And we'll do one more. So we cinch it tight there. I'm going to come right back around underneath, and then I'm going to make my slip knot again, and just going to tighten that there. So I'm just going to keep that knot in there and get it nice and tight. So, and now, so what I did was we did it backwards. So what I can do is I can just pull this off. We're going to flip it around this way. So see how that goes back here and that kind of anchors it. Kind of loosen this back up. There we go, slipped it right back on. And then we just tighten that right back up. There you go, nice and tight. Okay. And even if you wanted, you could take this extra little bit and we could anchor it right under one of our other knots here. Just do a quick little knot just to make sure it's totally anchored and secure. Pull it nice and tight. Perfect. There we go. Clip, we're done. So now what we can do is you can take our 2 clips, we can put it on there. We can take our photo. I'm going to flip this back over so you can see. What we'll do is we can take our photo, and I'm just going to clip it on there. We'll make some micro adjustments just to make sure our photo is nice and centered there in frame. So you can have it like this. We can also add a second string underneath, and then that way it will be nice and tight. How's that look? Okay, now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 clips, and now I'm going to come right in here and just clip off my photo. Here's our final frame. So, little driftwood frame. This hangs nicely on the wall. What you can do is, I would recommend you would have to get some screws just to be able to place it in your wall. Maybe get a little frame mount holder, and here you go. Thanks everyone for watching. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season, and let's see your frames. Thank you.